Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me in this session. In the last session, we learned how to send an XML structure which mapped to a book object, and this book object was added to a list of books which was there in the system, and finally that list was sent back to the client. In this session, we will learn how to send a list of book object as input to the service, and this service will take out the objects in the list, add it to the existing objects in the system, and return back the list along with the objects which were sent to it. Okay, so we will learn how to handle a list of objects which are sent as input. So in the last session, we had mapped the book object to novel just to show that we could just map it to any name which we wanted. For example, we had used this structure, okay? But now let's go back and revert it, and we will assume that it's going to be just book element. So we will remove it. So by default, since it's called book, so books which starting with small b will be used. Now, since we want to handle structure, let's see how that structure will look like. So let's say, sorry, we'll call it book. Again, one more book. Now we will copy. Let's say I want to send three objects. So let's call it deep work, the book name, and other one, let's call it ignore you. They can't, so good they cannot ignore you. So both deep work and so good they cannot ignore you are by Cal Newport, and they are very good books. Okay, so since they are list of books, we'll put them in this structure. Okay, slash books, and again we'll say slash books. Now, just to show that we can include other elements, we will also say total price, although we are not going to handle it in the input, and let's call it like, let's say $100. So this will be our structure. Now let's see how to map or how to handle this kind of input structure. So as you can see, the root element is books, so we will create one books object. So I'll copy this, and let's call it books. So it will also have root element, but it will not have these fields. It will have its own field. So I'll say list of books. I will import it. Then I will say int okay, and we will create getters and setters. So source, getters and setters, select all. Okay, so these fields are generated. Now I want to say that books is element, so we'll say XML element, and we'll say name equals book. That means each element in this array list is going to be mapped to book object, and we will also say XML accessor type, and let's see what are the options here. So we'll say field. That means it's going to map the fields of this object. So this is the structure we need in this class. What next we need to do is we have to handle it in the service. So this service is going to receive books. So I'll say books, and let's call it books, and I'll import it. Now since I'm going to also have some books in the system, which are, just to remind you, we have two books like Head First Java and Head First Design Pattern. So these, we will assume that these books are already there in the system. So in this list, we will add whatever is received from here. So we will say books dot get books, and I think we have to say add all. So add all method allows you to add a collection. So all the books which are received from the input are going to be added to this list. Now we will return this list. So we'll copy this and paste it here. Okay. So we will just clean the project now. Okay, it's done. Now we'll restart it. Okay, it's restarted. Now I'm going to send this list. So just to be sure, our header says the content type is going to be application slash XML, which means that this is the XML input. Let's see the body. So body has books, each, and books contains 3 book objects, and we also send total price. So let's see what happens now. So as you can see, this has returned as properly all the books, which this one and this one, these first 2 are already existing in the system, and these 3, that is number, I think I made a mistake by adding this 4 2 times, but just you would understand that these 3 are the ones which were the input. So this service is now able to get all the 3 XML objects as list, and then we can handle as needed. So friends, this is the example of how to handle a list of XML data as input. So I hope this was useful to you, and please like my video and add your comments if you have any suggestions, and I hope you will join me in the next tutorial. Thank you so much.